finally flying. Listen, y'all know I have been one of the biggest skeptics of Al B. Shure. It was giving you want to sell your memoir. However, Al B. Shure went on Fox 5 New York, and he actually said that that federal prosecutors has subpoenaed him to testify in the Diddy trial. That means they are going to bring up Kim Porter. If you guys don't know, in the legal documents, they talked about one of the people that were mistreated by Diddy, that they're never pressed charges, but at the same time, it shows the way they said that that person was deceased. Y'all, what if this is actually Kim Porter? And they subpoenaed Al B. Shure? Let's get into this. Am I gonna have to eat everything I said about Al B. Shure? Probably not, because I want to see if he was actually subpoenaed. Because here's the thing. They said Al B. Shure says he's the last man breathing who knows the truth about Diddy and has no issue using the last of his oxygen to take him down. The R&B singer appeared on Fox 5 New York earlier today to promote his forthcoming memoir, where he raised questions about his late ex Kim Porter's passing. Now, Al claims Kim used to warn him to watch his back around Diddy and disputed the coroner's ruling that a healthy 47-year-old woman could suddenly pass away from pneumonia. I agree. That always seemed really, really weird. And the fact that everybody just accepted that, I was like, they're either covering up and it was something else, or Diddy really did do something to her, okay? Now, because people are saying she was writing a memoir, Diddy and his kids came out and said that's a lie. She never had a memoir, but then they literally tried to get a court order to say they were exclusive owners of information that wasn't a memoir, it wasn't a manuscript, but it was something that Kim was putting together to accumulate what Diddy had done. And I was like, wait, y'all said it didn't exist, but now y'all out here saying that you own it? Okay. He also revealed that Diddy's prosecutors have subpoenaed him to testify at the federal sex trafficking trial, and that he and his attorney are willing to accept the invitation. Now, I don't want to turn this into me dragging Al, because y'all know me. Everybody says that Al was a deadbeat father to Quincy because he was scared for Diddy. But then I said, but what about what Al's other kids have to say about his fathering skills? Because you can't blame Diddy for that. You know, and even the fact that Kim, actually one of the reasons Diddy was able to do that is through financial abuse, because Al, when they were younger, was not actually taking care of Kim or Quincy. And that made Kim more likely to seek a man that could help provide. Anyway, right? He goes on to claim that Diddy placed a bounty on his head and orchestrated a massive PR campaign to have him look bad, which led to his 2022 health scare. Now, here's the thing. Judging what we know from Diddy, I think maybe Al might be telling the truth about that. Al always was mad at Al B. Shure. Diddy was always mad at Al B. Shure. He was always jealous. In between telling Quincy that he was effing beautiful, he was always jealous of Al B. Shure. Again, Quincy and the twins and Christian have come out and said that Al's all cap, and he was never really close to the mom, and he's not a spokesperson, and he don't speak for them. So, but that said, the kids are under Diddy's control. So it literally is like, who do you choose to believe, okay? Do I believe that he orchestrated a massive PR campaign to have him look bad? Most likely, and I would say it worked, because I don't have a good opinion of Al B. Shure. But, and do I think that Diddy might have placed a bounty on his head? Why not? He was out there slipping aside and dipping and diving, saying a lot of crazy things to a lot of people. So I don't doubt that he looked at Al B. Shure and said, yeah, I've had enough of you too. They said Al fell into a coma with liver failure, but underwent a successful transplant. He told the news station for the first time he firmly believes Diddy had something to do with his failed organs. I would like to know why, but I guess we have to read the memoir. They said the moment of reckoning for Al comes when he declares, "I'm the only one alive," suggesting everyone who ever spoke up against Diddy got whacked. Al, there's like 7 people, women, testifying in the sex trafficking that are speaking up. Cassie's still alive. Victims 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are still alive. They said not everyone shares those Diddy fears, however. Quincy Brown, Al's biological son, he shared with Porter, is boldly standing with Diddy, aka his pops, until the end. It's worth noting, Kim's kids said back in September, While it has been incredibly difficult to reconcile how she could have been taken from us too soon, the cause of her passing has long been established. There was no foul play. Grief is a lifelong process. We ask that everyone respect our request for peace as we continue to cope with her loss every day. Prosecutors also revealed in court this week that there won't be much about Kim or Al during the Diddy criminal trial. They reached out to Diddy's camp. So far, no word. First of all, I'm actually curious to know, how is he blaming Diddy for his liver failure? Now, a lot of people said that Al was on that Colombian dancing desk and that's his liver failure. I don't think that's true, because I do know that when you look for liver transplants, if you have any history of abuse, drinking, narcotics, anything, they won't put you on the liver transplant list. The fact that he was on the liver transplant list and he actually received the liver shows that whatever his reason for liver failure was, it had to be natural. So I don't think currently he's on anything. I don't know what he did in his past, but I'm very interested to know, how did this all come about? And listen, let me actually just be clear, right? Is Al actually testifying? No, he says he is. Prosecutors have not confirmed, and there is a witness list. If you received a subpoena, unless you Gina Han, that you're hiding from going missing and not returning any calls, and your lawyer's not returning any calls, unless you're Gina Han, how can you refuse prosecutors' invite to... How can you refuse the prosecutor's invite? You're willing to accept. Did you get subpoenaed? Are you on the witness list? And if you are, I want to hear. I will take back everything except for the deadbeat dad stuff. Everything I've said about you if you are on that witness list. But here's another thing. Didn't the judge do a gag order on all witnesses, their attorneys, and anybody else that the prosecution or the defense is calling? Isn't there an active gag order? So how is he speaking out about what happened if there's an active gag order and if you're going to be one of the witnesses called? Again, I'll be sure is a conundrum wrapped up in a riddle, wrapped up in a big question mark with a why. I don't know what to think at this point. I do know that if he has any information that can lead to the justice for Kim Porter and all these women, I hope he actually does testify. But again, I thought there was a gag order. So how are you promoting the book and actually saying that you were called to testify? Is everyone, because every other witness is being completely quiet, and they realize that there's a lot at stake. So if every other witness is being quiet and incognito, some of them have even gone missing, and the judge issued a gag order for everybody, how are you going on Fox 5 promoting your memoir, and now you're letting all this be known? I do want to also say this, right? For those of y'all being like, oh my God, you being too hard on him. Remember when Al B. Shure had just gotten out of the hospital and he was posting those things? And remember how everyone was like, yo, Diddy did this, because he implied that. He was like subtweeting Diddy. And remember how I think Claudia Jordan came out and he was like, y'all read too much into this. This ain't about Diddy. This ain't about this. And we were like, okay, we thought you were trying to tell us something. And now you're coming back and you saying that, yeah, now you lied about lying back then, but now you're telling the truth. Again, maybe he is Diddy's victim. I actually want to see the prosecution confirm that he actually is, because if you get a subpoena, what do you mean you're inclined to accept it? You can't not accept it. That's what a subpoena is. We will see. I'm sure the prosecution or somebody or Diddy's team will hit back with what's going on, but probably Diddy, the kids are going to get involved this time, because Quincy is always going to war with that man he calls his daddy. Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. Shout out to Al B. Shure if he is testifying, but given his record, I'm going to need to see some receipts. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to need to see some receipts. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.